Once upon a time, there was a little... No, I'm not talking about bedtime stories. I'm talking about the kind of stories that you could work into your speaking engagement or your presentation to make a point, to prove a point, to support an argument that you're making, to demonstrate an issue, whatever. Here's the thing about stories. Incorporating stories is really a good way to bond with your audience. It's a good way to connect up with them. Now, I think the best kind of stories to use are personal stories. Something happened to you, and it helps your audience connect with you. You buy credibility. You'll break down resistance, if there is any, to whatever it is you're talking about. And I think it also helps you develop trust with the audience that's sitting there in front of you. So, to prove a point, I hope, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to give you a story as an example of what we're talking about in this program, but also I'm going to relate it to the last show that we did, show number 15, where I was talking about changing habits and changing negative dialogues that we have with ourselves to a positive dialogue, taking about 3 weeks to make that change, according to Maxwell Maltz. And the story I'm going to share with you proves that point. Several years ago, when I first got back from Japan, I decided to get involved in a real rigorous exercise program. Now, I exercise on a regular basis, and I have for years and years and years, but this was going to be super duper extra strong. I was going to go every day. I was going to work the upper half of the body one day, the lower half of the body the next day, watch my diet, and all of this stuff. And I did this rigorously, and I did it for months. Well, along about the end of the first month, I'm lying on this machine face down. It was a leg machine, supposed to curl your legs up, build up the back of the muscles in your legs, and I didn't like it. I really didn't like this exercise. And every time I'd do it, I didn't like it. Well, one day I'm lying there between sets. I'd do 3 sets, and I'd curl my legs, and I'd stop. Instead of getting off the machine, I'd lie there until I was going to do the next set, which was probably about 30, 40 seconds. So I'm lying there, and I'm looking down at this pad that I have on the floor. There's a pen there. I always carry a pad or a little book and keep track of what I'm doing when I exercise. And I'm looking down at the floor, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, I really don't like this exercise. And I thought to myself, I'm going to be doing this for a long time. I've got to somehow change my attitude, because I don't like doing this exercise. So at that point, I reached down, I took my pen, and I drew, I know this is going to sound strange, but I did this. I drew a little heart next to the name of the exercise. So from then on in, every time I came in to the gym and did that exercise, and I'd lie down and I'd look at the book and I'd say, the leg curl, yeah, here we go again. Well, let me tell you something. About 2.5, close to 3 weeks in, I'm lying on the bench, and I laugh now. I'm lying on the bench and I look down at the exercise, and every time I turned the page and I wrote my exercises down anew, I draw the little heart next to it, and I'm lying there and I'm looking at this thing, and just like I'm doing now, I started to chuckle. I started to laugh. It just struck me as funny that I was drawing this little heart on my serious workout, muscle man kind of exercise routine, and I started joking about it to myself. I started laughing, and I didn't want to really laugh out loud, too loud, because people think you're nuts or something, and I don't want to be thrown out of the gym for being crazy. So, but in any event, at that time, I realized I really didn't hate it anymore. I really didn't. I really didn't hate the leg curls. And to this day, honestly, I never hate leg curls, and I always think about that moment in that Gold's Gym with that little heart. So in any event, can you change your thinking? From my experience, absolutely, positively you can. Does it take 3 weeks? As Maxwell Maltz said, well, it took me about 3 weeks to change my thinking from a very negative, I hate this exercise, to a pretty positive, laughing, yeah, this exercise is okay. I can do this. It's not so bad, to the point that I felt it was actually pretty good. Okay, so there you have it. On tape, a personal revelation. And it actually worked for me. Now, does that story have more meaning to my audience than, say, just reciting some stats or facts out of a book? I would think so. It certainly makes my presentation more human. I want to suggest that you incorporate stories where you think it's appropriate into your presentations and into your speaking engagements. It can make a real difference. Now, when I say personal, I'm not suggesting intimate. There's a difference between personal and intimate, and you'll have to be the best judge of that. But personal stories will bond your audience to you and help you make the point that you're there to make, and maybe make it more effectively, maybe build up more trust than you would get by going in with some flip charts or a PowerPoint presentation. Well, there's my story. I hope that makes the point that stories are a good tool to use for a speaker. And if you incorporate a story or two or three into your presentation, into your speaking engagements, I think you'll see nothing but positive benefits. Thanks for stopping by. Go tell a story. I'll see you next time.